ومن تزكى فإنما يتزكى لنفسه وإلى الله المصير.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فعصوا رسول ربهم فأخذهم أخذة رابية. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: الكيس من دان نفسه وعمل لما بعد الموت والعاجز من أتبع نفسه وتمنى على الله أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. First of all, my brothers and sisters, we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us another opportunity, another week, another Friday to glorify Him, to pray to Him and submit to His will. Wallahi al-azim, there were many people that were with us last week. There were many people who were with us on the 31st of December, but they weren't able to see the 1st of January. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this chance. Wallahi al-azim, you and I have no kamal. This is not our kamal. This is not our ability. Allah has blessed us with it. And as you know, when death comes, none of us have any say into it. If any one of us had choice, then rich would live and the poor would die. But when it comes to this matter, no one has any choice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this time and opportunity. You know, when something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regards as precious or something that's great, Allah swore by that in the Quran. And among so many swear that Allah has to take, first of all, Allah don't have to take any swear. His word itself is enough, right? Allah's word itself is enough for us. But among so many swears Allah taken, one oath Allah took is what? Wal asr. I swear by time. Innal insana lafi khusr. All the humans are in disgrace, are in loss, except one. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Except those, do good deeds. Believe in Allah and do good deeds. Otherwise, every creation of Allah, every insan is in loss. Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned in hadith, Ad-dunya mal'una, this entire creation of Allah, this entire world is cursed. And whatever is in it is a curse also. Except what? Dhikrullah. Except dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or people who do dhikr of Allah, or talib al-ilm, a person who seeks knowledge. These are exceptions. Otherwise, everything that it is in this world, every possession that we possess, every title that you possess, everything that you see under the God's sun, it's all mal'oon, as Rasulullah mentioned in the hadith. Similarly, every insan is in lost, Allah is saying. All of us, if we don't believe in Allah and we don't do good action, Allah is saying you are in loss. Lafi khusr, there are two ta'keed, emphasis. They are in, no doubt, they are in loss. As if you are surrounded by loss now. As if Allah is describing this ayah, in this ayah description Allah is giving, as if loss is an object or room or something you can think of, and you as a human being, you are in there. You have lost now. But except those people, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Except those that believe in Allah and do good deeds. And the hadith I mentioned, Rasulullah said, you know what? Al-kayyisu man dana nafsa. Most intellectual person, a wise person of whom? Today if I were to ask all of you guys, who do you think is so wise? Many of us will say, Steve Jobs, because he, such an innovation he brought, like there was never there before, right? Or many will say Elon Musk, or many will say Jeff Bezos, or many will say, Warren Buffett, right? We'll name these people because we'll think, these are intellectual people, because you can't get wealth and the amount of wealth they have, you can't just get if you're a regular bimbo, right? No. You have to have some sort of intellectual knowledge to get what they got, to gain what they gain, to have what they have. But Allah is saying that these are not intellectual people. And one thing we get things twisted. Al-Qayyis means actually wise, actually. Wise. There's a difference between intellectual and wise. They may be intellectual, but they're not wise. If you want to put criteria on wisdom, then in that case, for example, wealth, if wealth was supposed to be a criteria of success, or wealth was supposed to be a criteria of intellectual, then Qarun had the most wealth. And Musa a.s. was a loser, because he had no job, he had no name, he had no fame, and he had no wealth. To the extent where people said, Ya waylatana mithla ma utiya Qarun. Oh, we wish, we hoped we have gotten what Qarun got. Today, that's what happens when we see people, when we see ulama and we see people like, the imam or imam from a masajid, or we see shuyukh, we're like, oh, what these people are doing, what they know. But when we see a person with status, oh man, look at this guy. This guy have $70 billion net worth like Jeff Bezos has. Oh, damn, this guy is intellectual. Similarly, no, we think this is what happened today is only happening today. No, this has been happening since the beginning of time. People always saw the people of wealth with high regards. People always had high regards for people with power. People of high regards always were kept at high regards when they had, fame. On the contrary, we see the Anbiya. You pick up from Adam ﷺ, all the Rasulullah ﷺ. Any story you pick up, all of them, all the nations said, you know what, you're losers. Everyone said that. We see you losers. You are nothing in our eyes. You have no status in our eyes. All the prophets were said this. That's why Rasulullah said, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. We have put lessons for you, for the intellectual people, for the wise people. Right? Because from the beginning of time, this has been happening. People with religion were always looked down upon. لَنُخْرِجَنَّكَ يَا شُعَيْبُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَكَ مِنْ قَرْيَتِنَا أَوْ لَتَعُودُنَّ فِي مِلَّتِنَا. We will kick you out of the state, we will kick you out of the city if you don't come to our religion. This has been happening since the beginning of time. There's nothing happening today. Like if you see what's happening in Islamophobia, and you see people looking down on religious people, and you see people looking down on Muslim people, wallahi, my brothers and sisters, Allah is telling us, read the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ مَا كَانَ حَدِيثًا يُفْتَرَى وَلَكِنْ تَصْدِيقَ الَّذِي بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ وَتَفْصِيلَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً لِقَوْمٍ يُوقِنُونَ. Right? Allah is telling us this has been happening since Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam. They used to call when he وَإِنِّي كُلَّمَا دَعَوْتُهُمْ لِتَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ جَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ. Whenever I used to call them towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they used to put their fingers in the ears. Right? They used to put their finger in the ears. Like, we don't want to hear you. Leave. So my brothers and sisters, this has been happening. But today, since we saw that, we see Muslims are being disgraced, we hide ourselves now. We feel ashamed to be known as Muslims. We feel ashamed to look like even Muslim. We feel ashamed to resemble Muslims. We feel ashamed to have any association with Muslim. And Muhammad turns into Mo. Because of what? We feel ashamed, no, I don't want to be affiliated like this. But Allah is saying, these are the people that Allah is saying, you know what? تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا ولا عاقبة للمتقين. Akhirah is for the people who has taqwa in their heart. Today we have to know that if we're hiding ourselves, they will not like you because of this. وَلَن تَرْضَى عَنْكَ الْيَهُودُ وَلَا النَّصَارَى حَتَّى تَتَّبِعَ مِلَّتَهُم. Allah is telling us in the Quran that these Yahud and Nasara, they will not like you no matter what you do until you become like them. So now what you're going to do? Become like them? So you can become, welcome in the society again? So you can become beloved in the society again? So you can become loved in the society again? My brothers and sisters, we have to know who we are. If you're confused, then the world will be confused. Till Muslims knew who Muslims were, wallahi al-azim, people were afraid to even, talk to Muslims. Muslim ruled the world. Today, many of us, we were born into this. We saw, since we have been born, we saw the demise as Muslims. Wallahi al-azim, my brothers and sisters, this was never the reality. The reality is, Muslims ruled the world for over 1,000 years. But that was the condition was they were following Allah's command. They were submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today you and I, we're trying to find respect and izzat and honor in following the ways of the batil. Now you see, what we see what's happening around us today. Everything has become accepted. Now we have to accept LGBTQ. We have to accept the people. Today, if you commit a crime, for example, you run a speed light, you think of that as a criminal. That's a crime. But today you go speak against Allah, that's not a crime. You speak against something that government is doing, or the ideologies that are being promoted from Hollywood. Speak against that, you're a criminal. But now you speak about Quran, no one is criminal. If you go against Quran, you're not a criminal. You go against the fad, go against the society, you're a criminal. But if you go against Rasulullah, you're not a criminal. This is the society we're living in today. Everyone has a right to speak against Allah. Everyone has a right to speak against Quran. Everyone thinks they have opinion to speak against Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And none of us think it's a crime to do that. Allah is saying in the Quran, فَعَصَوْا رَسُولَ رَبِّهِمْ فَأَخَذَهُمْ أَخْذَةً رَابِيَةً. When they went against the prophets and they transgressed against the prophet, أَخَذَهُمْ أَخْذَةً رَابِيَةً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down, His punishment upon them. They were taken by the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and sisters, we have to know, we have to become Muslims and submit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have full yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sahaba Ikram, they were Muslims, and when Muslims submitted to Allah, we see in Badr what happened, 313 against 1,000. 313 Sahaba against 1,000, doesn't even make sense. And they were well equipped, and Muslims were under equipped. Uhud came, there was 750 against 3,000. Just pick up the history of Islam and see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped Muslims. Allah don't help Muslims because of wealth or because of equipment or because of knowledge. Allah helped the Muslims when the deen is in their life. Today you and I has put the deen away. Deen is not in our mind. Today we put our kids to sleep so they can go to school instead of teaching them that, beta, go to sleep so you can get up for Fajr. When was the last time my kid wasn't praying Fajr and I was sad that he didn't pray Fajr before going to school? If my son goes to school without eating breakfast, wallahi, the whole day I'm thinking how my son is going, what is he doing, how is he feeling, what is he going through? His stomach is hurting, he may be hungry. But when was the last time you think my son is going to school and he didn't pray Fajr, and what's going to happen to him when he goes in his grave? My son is losing. If he bring F in his grades, we all cry oh my God. We'll bring Twitter to him. We'll try to find tuition. We'll put him in find some good teacher who can teach him well and get him ready for the test, GTA, ATA, whatever, all these tests, CTA, all these tests that happen. We try to prepare him for that. When was the last time I understood? I had the concern that if my son were to die, what's going to happen to his iman? If one doctor come to me, tell me, with a PhD on hanging behind his wall, that you have stage 4 cancer, you're about to die in 6 months, I'm going to lose my mind. Allah is telling in Quran that day is coming, day is coming, day is coming. None of us even have a frown on our head. A person will tell you that you're about to die in 6 months. We all will I'm going to start giving sadaqah after sadaqah. Ya Allah, please give me cure. Ya Allah, please save me. Ya Allah, have mercy upon me. Ya Allah, please forgive me. Ya Allah, do this for me. Ya Allah, do that for me. But at the same time, the Quran is filled with 6,000 ayahs telling you, be prepared for the day of judgment. Be prepared for your qabr. Be prepared for your akhirah. Be prepared to stand in front of Allah. None of us even think about it twice. This is the reality we have this dunya. This is the reality. My brothers and sisters, why is this attitude that we have? Because none of us spent anything for the deen. That's why. We haven't spent time for the deen to learn. We haven't spent money on the deen. We haven't spent our own health, our ability on this deen. That's why. All of you guys has, mashallah, many of you guys are sitting here, doctors, studied 12, 15 years. That's why you have very much regard for your profession that you do. I'll ask you this. How much time have you spent learning the deen? That's why you have no regard for the deen. And probably say how do you know my heart? Who are you to judge me? I am not judging you. Our actions speak louder than words. How much concern do you have that your son doesn't come to the masjid, or your daughter doesn't do hijab, or your wife is not practicing Islam properly, or anything in your family, your nephew or niece is not studying this deen. They don't have no regard for deen. Our new generation coming up in America, they have no regard for the deen. We see that right now, mashallah, look at this masjid. Look at it, mashallah. The entire masjid is filled right now. Asr time, no one will be here. Allah is gone after Asr. There's no salah after Asr. There's no masjid after Asr. A bullet in your hand, does it have any power? I can literally throw 1,000 bullets at you, nothing will happen. But I take out one gun and have a bullet in it, everyone run away from here. Because of what? The bullet isn't where it belongs. That's why it has power. Similarly, a Muslim has to be in the masjid to have power. Today we have abandoned masjid. We have abandoned masjid, sadly. Only time we see people for Eid and Jumma. Fajr only here, 4, 5, 6 people. That's it. Allah is not there for Fajr. Allah is not there for Zuhr. Allah is not there for Asr. Is our job more important than coming to the masjid? Is our family matters more important than coming to the masjid? My brothers and sisters, The things I'm saying probably is hurting some people's heart. You may not even like what I'm saying, but the thing is, a true doctor is the one who tells you diagnosis, not hide your diagnosis. One day, you all of us sitting here, one day we'll be under the grave. The people that you're sacrificing your deen for will not be there for you on the day of judgment. Many will say, I have a wife, I have a kid, I have a job. The job will replace you in 3 days. Your kids and wife will leave you in 3 days. They'll forget about you after 3 days. Wallahi, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Only your deeds will be with you in the grave. What are you doing for that day? What are you doing to show your face to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If today one of us have to go to the court, we will be frightened toward bones to go to the court. Tomorrow you have to stand for Allah, and no one will be between you and Allah. It's you and Allah, literally. No one else. No prophet will be with you, standing with you, or your boss, or your kids, or your wife. No, it's you and Allah. And Allah said, why did you do this? What would be the answer? We all think, yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving. But today we have overplayed this card so much that, we have no regard for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and sisters, it's time for us to open our eyes, see the reality. Your parents has left you. Your grandparents has left you. Your great-grandparents has left you. You will leave one day too. You will be no one. Tell me how your great-grandparents looked like. I don't know who my great-parents. I never saw my great-grandparents. You will become like that. No one, as if you never existed. Go to the graveyard, they will show you. You will become as if you never existed. My brothers and sisters, it's time for us to open our eyes. Face the reality. Prepare for akhirah. Prepare to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And give some regards to this deen. This deen came to us after so much sacrifice. Learn this deen. Learn who was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Learn the Quran. We have the Quran. If I already, mashallah, all of us sitting here, if I were to ask you, tell me how much knowledge have you gained since the Bulugha till this time? How much Quran do you understand? None of us will know. But mashallah, many of you brothers sitting here from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Africa, so many different countries, and all of you guys, mashallah, speak fluent English. It's not your language. You learned it because you have value for that language. Well, Quran come in Arabic. The book of Allah came from in Arabic. None of us have any value for that. We never bother to learn it. No one can admit it's not my language. English is not your language as well. You learned it. So what's the excuse over here then? It just shows deen is not in the forefront of our eyes. Everything is there. My kids, my job, my shop, my business, my profession, my family, this and that, my state, my society, my home, my community. And in the end, when I'm retired and about to die, my feet are hanging in the grave, then I'm gonna, oh my God, now I have to pray for my deen. This is the value. My brothers and sisters, return back to Allah before it's too late. Because no one knows who will go. There's no order of coming that, I have to get old and I will die. Everyone is leaving. Rasulullah said, the most intellectual person are those who prepare for the akhirah. He works for what's coming after death. And that's what the Sahaba did. They didn't care for the dunya. Allah put dunya in their feet then. The dunya came in their feet. Wallahi, Allah gave them dunya in their feet then. Because they kept akhirah ahead of them. Wallahi, when you start living for Allah, Allah will make your dunya easy as well. Your profession will become easy, will become means of barakah, source of goodness for you. Within deen, Allah has kept everything for us. I'll just stop with this saying. There's one saying in Urdu, as we like in Arabic too. They say that a'mal ke andar mal hai. When you spell a'mal, hamza ain mim alif lam, right? A'mal, mal is in there. When you will do a'mal, mal will come. Right? Mal will come when you do a'mal. So if you start living for Allah, Allah will bring dunya in your feet as well. Don't think if I'll become religious and I'll become devoted to masjid, I'll lose in dunya. No, Allah will facilitate your dunya for you. Allah will make it so easy, it will come in your feet. Right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to practice what has been said, what has been heard. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us allow us to understand akhirah before it's too late. Allow us to see the reality before it's too late. May Allah allow us to connect to Him before it's too late for us to be connected. Wa akhiru da'wa alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.